I'm a stand-up comedian, Palestinian background, moved to Houston, Texas after the Gulf War in '90. Muhammad is a very complicated human being. I'm a little bit country, I'm a little bit hip hop, I'm a little bit folk music, I'm a little bit Tejano.
And can you tell us about what your series Mo is about and how your own personal lived experiences inform the story?
Yeah, sure. The show is about an immigrant family, a refugee family seeking asylum in Houston, Texas. It is a story of wanting to belong, wanting to feel like equal to the person next to you. It is a story of statelessness and displacement, which is obviously a comedy, you know? It's hard to imagine that when it's such a serious topic, right? But it's a family who is desperately working to resolve its pain and suffering, while also continuing to move forward and push through to achieve a better life for itself.
You said, obviously it's a comedy. I feel with something like immigrants and immigration, which is often a very serious and heavy subject, you have a lot of comedy and a lot of heart into it. So can being an immigrant be funny?
Absolutely. I mean, in my case, I'll speak for myself that humor was a great way to filter pain. It was just like a natural reaction for me to go to a funny place in the most serious of situations. And I'm sure my mother was very annoyed by it sometimes, but also found it to be like amusing most of the time. But it was just like a natural human reaction for me to turn to comedy to kind of like balance out all the tragedy.
What sort of takeaways do you hope viewers will take away after watching Mo?
Well, I think it's just like having compassion and empathy towards what it's like to have an immigrant asylee experience in America, but also like the universality of you don't have to be an immigrant to understand what it's like to work your butt off to provide for your family, and while juggling emotionally challenging things that have happened to you in your life. You don't have to be an immigrant or a refugee to have that. And then another layer on top of that is, you know, the patience that is required to become an American citizen, and the diversity of Houston and how beautiful that is, and to have inclusion and relationships from many different cultures and background can be a really fruitful thing, and make you a better human being for it. So there's so much to take away from it, but in the end, having compassion, empathy, relatability, universality is all big themes in the show.
I love it. And finally, how do you define American?
Wow. Being an American for me is being a person of the world. I feel like America, in how it was intended to be, was a country of diversity, a country of freedom of thought and speech, inclusion. Although we struggle as a community sometimes, or a lot of the time, to live up to that standard, well, we still are that. We are a very diverse community of people, ethnic backgrounds, languages, and thought. Even with all the resistance of what's being portrayed on television, we at least, I can tell you that I have a wide range of relationships that has made me a better person with a broader thought process.